There have been a bunch of wild crimes happening in the Memphis area lately. Like there was that one kid out there live streaming a bunch of shootings, which is just crazy in and of itself. And then I seen this other story, okay, which I'm sure a bunch of other people did, and for whatever reason, it got a whole bunch of coverage. Like I guess maybe because it's an attractive blonde white woman or something like that. Like that always seems to happen. Like that Gabby Petito something. Oh my God, she went missing and then she got found in a park. And now everybody's suing everybody. How adorable. But this one specifically, it's like, I don't know who this lady is. Okay, and then it turns out that she's an heiress to a billionaire fortune or something like that. And I don't really think that the guy who ended up ultimately snatching her up and doing a bunch of foul things to her was really thinking about that. The only thing that he ended up seeing at 4 o'clock in the morning, which let's just go ahead and put that out there on Front Street, okay, where she was running, what time it was. Okay, this is not the whole blame the victim scenario. Okay, I'm not saying that, well, she shouldn't have been wearing that dress, if you know that old gag. That's not exactly what I'm saying here at this point, but you're in a place that's normally known to be a little bit seedy and you're doing it so early in the morning and you're not properly paying attention to your surroundings. You gotta take better care of yourself, okay? Like, again, I've been out running that time in the morning, early in the morning, and I don't live anywhere near in a violent of a place. Even though if you take a look at crime statistics, Grand Prairie is one of the most violent places in Canada. But again, with that caveat, violent place in Canada, okay, and even still, I'm a man of a certain stature, okay, I'm out there exercising with my headphones in. I probably am not somebody that a kidnapper is going to roll up on in a panel van and just throw them in the back, okay, mostly because, hey, I ain't got nothing to my name. If you guys want my headphones, have fun with that. Just let me go finish my run. It'll be fine. I'll just put my phone on speaker and I'll just blast my metal music. Don't worry about it. It'll be totally fine. But the sheer lack of your own personal responsibility, that's something that bugged me the wrong way. I still might do something with that live stream shooter because that's crazy in and of itself, and the lack of coverage on that one. Boy, that was something. It's like, oh, somebody live streaming a bunch of shooters. Can we take a look at who the suspect in this situation is? Oh, right. He fits a certain demographic and gone. That's what happened there. But this story, because of the victim that's out there, I've seen a lot of pictures of the victim, but not a lot of the perpetrator of this situation. So let's just wise everybody up to the details of this crime. Missing Memphis mother found dead. What we know about Eliza Fletcher's murder. All right, so the time frame on this one. Memphis police said the mother of St. Mary Episcopal School junior kindergarten teacher was jogging about 4 a.m. Friday, September 2nd near Capitol Avenue and Zach H. Curlin Street, because that's where they're in the University of Memphis area, around a university college in Memphis, Tennessee. Not exactly the most non-violent place. We can actually take a look. We'll pull up some statistics on Memphis, okay? Got our good friends over here at Neighborhood Scout, okay, and I haven't looked at any of this stuff specifically, but yeah, it doesn't exactly look like the nicest part of town, and I wish I could find the university, okay, specifically, but you take a look, like they got all of Tennessee encapsulated right here, and the darker the blue, the more dangerous it gets. So yeah, just taking a look at the crime index. We took a look at Chicago here a little while ago. They had a rating of 10, by the way, and 100 is the safest, and Memphis right there, not exactly the safest place on earth, with a great score of 0. I didn't even think that was possible, but I think we're not going to be totally fuck. I was just going to say, we're not going to be shocked by the findings. Like, I'm not surprised that it's so violent overall, but that violent? 24.2 instances. 1 in 41 people will be a victim of violent crime. And what do they mean by that? Assault, murder, rape, all of the, that type of unsavory stuff. It is what? It's 4 times. You are 4 times more likely than in the rest of Tennessee, which is already at an elevated level in and of itself. Jesus. These are 2020 numbers, by the way, so I'd imagine things have only gotten worse so far. So let's just go ahead and give proper context to everything now. Don't want to be taking and doing anything improper there. But they actually got a proper breakdown of everything. Holy. Property crime that's astronomically high. Not as bad as Chicago, I don't think. 1 in 17 people will be a victim in Memphis, as opposed to 1 in 40 in Tennessee. And then when it comes to crime per square miles, 160 crimes per square mile in the great city of Memphis. And who's the mayor of Memphis, by the way? Oh, you already know it's a Democrat. Anyways, back to this. University of Memphis police called MPD to assist around 7 a.m. Friday after receiving a missing persons report for Fletcher known as Eliza. According to the affidavit from the suspect, Cleotha Henderson, aka Cleotha Abston. Surveillance video showed a black GMC Terrain passing Fletcher, then waiting for her to run by. Investigators said the video showed a man get out and struggle with Fletcher before forcing her into the SUV. Police said the SUV then sat in the parking lot with Fletcher outside about 4 minutes before the driver took off. And yeah. According to the police affidavit, a witness told investigators they saw Henderson just a few hours after the abduction on Friday, about 7:50 a.m. And wow, they got to the bottom of that quickly, but we got a better encapsulation of everything we should know about Cleotha Abston. And that's why this story, and that's why you don't really see, because it took forever, especially in this one other mainstream CBS affiliate out of Houston or something like that. They had a good write-up. We are, what, how far down? Okay, all the way from the top, and you have to get how many scrolls down before you get to the actual suspect, to the guy who committed the crime. Funny thing about that. Anyways, the suspect charged with snatching Tennessee heiress Eliza Fletcher was accused of rape as a young teen and previously served 20 years for violent kidnapping and a prosecutor, according to court records. And again, Chicago just got rid of cash bail release, and this guy's got a history, and it's not like there isn't also, documentation that the people that get released don't just go on to immediately recommit and reoffend. Imagine that. Anyways, Cleotha Abston, 38. He served 20 years for violent kidnapping, accused of rape, and he's only 38. What a life he has lived. What a fucking life he has wasted. Has a juvenile record dating back to when he was just 12. So he was... I don't want to make any claims. I don't want to make any definitive statements. But you can probably finish my sentence on this one when I say that, we shouldn't even waste the cot on this motherfucker. With charges including aggravated assault with a weapon and rape. Oh, yay, wonderful. According to court records obtained by Memphis Commercial Appeal, he was still only 16 when he kidnapped Memphis-based prosecutor Kemper Durand at gunpoint in the early hours of May 25th, 2000, reports from the Time show. Durand had testified that only luck had saved him from being killed that day. Is that the most up-to-date picture you could find from the fucking prosecutor? Like, that was snapped in the 50s, for Christ's sakes. Abston held a gun at Kemper's face and demanded his car keys, forced him into the trunk. Durand's former law firm, Lucen Thompson, recalled in an obituary after the attorney's death 13 years later. For the next several hours, Kemper was trapped in cold darkness of his car trunk as Abston and an even younger teen drove him in the car throughout the city, the firm's obituary recalled. Oh yeah, now up to today, Abston is being held on $500,000 bond. Fucking why at this point? He has a record, a pretty extensive record, and he's going to recommit if he's out there on the streets, if given the opportunity, if given enough time. So why is there even a bond afforded to this hunk of shit? On charges of tampering with evidence and especially aggravated kidnapping. His arraignment is scheduled for Tuesday. He's already appeared in court, pleaded not guilty, which good luck for that one. He declined to provide investigators with the location of the victim. Yeah, they had to go and recover the body, which great, wonderful, fantastic. The affidavit said as a huge search for Fletcher continued Monday. But instead of using that as a point of inflection of, wow, we should probably clean up the streets of Memphis, you know what, we should probably make it safe for somebody out there, because there's probably a place to go, because honestly, we take a look back at the stats here once again, we could probably go up from 0. We might be able to get to 5 by the end of the year. That would be a staunch improvement, okay? We should not only make the place safer for, attractive white women of 38 years old going out for a run at 4 o'clock in the morning, like the most dangerous fucking thing you can do all by yourself. Like, honestly, okay, if I lived in a place like that, I wouldn't be running at 4 o'clock in the morning by myself, okay, even if it's well lit like that. And I'm me, okay? I would have something on my person to avoid any sort of situation like that happening. But no, I'm taking the wrong position on that one, because again, you need to be like a feminist writing an op-ed in USA Today, okay? I'm a woman who runs alone. I'm furious about Eliza Fletcher's killing. Listen, guys, one lady lost her life. She was abducted and raped, but guess what? It's actually about me. Amanda Lee Myers. Oh my god, this is going to be fucking abysmal, okay? Just like all those people. My condolences to Queen Elizabeth. I know what it's like to lose a loved one, and I remember that one time my grandma died, and then my pet died, and then, it's like, just shut your fucking yap. If you aren't going to help the situation, just tell your story walking, stupid. Or running in the mortar, running in the morning, whatever. Tell it to your kidnapper. It wasn't so much what he said. It was about the way he said it. The look in his eye. He was leering, his voice cracking. Oh my god. Was this the beginning of a romance novel? And then he whisked me away and butt-fucked me in restraints. How adorable. It was a bright Saturday morning in Washington, D.C. Oh, another violent fucking place. Great. I had just left my apartment and I was walking toward the National Mall for my long run. What do you consider a long run, you fucking dork? I don't remember what he said, but he screamed back at me, made a threat, and acted like he was coming for me. Oh my god, I was practically Eliza. I ran fast and hard toward the U.S. Capitol building, propelled by rage and frustration. Hey, you fat bitch, run faster! I was propelled by rage. In the middle of that same run, I got a hey baby. Yeah, this is exactly the same as getting snatched up off the street and then having your corpse desecrated and thrown into a ditch. Exactly the same situation. I fucking hate this woman. As I was nearing my apartment in the last mile, a group of apparently drunken men driving around with video cameras started filming me for their SUV, laughing hysterically and shouting lewd things. I bet this entire situation happened just as you're recording it and you're not just stringing together a bunch of different events that may or may not have happened to you or a friend, or you've seen it on television. Like, again, press X to doubt. By the time I got home, I was in tears. I thought you were mad, though, and frustrated. Now you're in tears? Like, what's happened? Did you trip and did you stub your toe getting into your apartment? Overwhelmed with the knowledge that I didn't have the same freedom as most male runners. Again, do you need me to break down the numbers even further when it comes to who are actually the victims of violent crime and who is like 60% of the time the victim of murders? And if you want another scary factoid that's out there, who's actually the victim of rape at a higher propensity? I don't think you want those numbers broken down for you there, sweetheart. You just like to live in your little gilded apartment in Washington, D.C. to just look down at all of those heathens that are down there that made you feel so bad. But yeah. Male runners, nothing bad ever happens to them, right? Oh, okay, of course. That I could just never walk out my door and get some exercise completely free from the indignity of street harassers, of the fear of one day something worse. Yeah, but nothing happened. What are you talking about? When I read about the kidnapping and killing of Tennessee runner Eliza Fletcher in the early morning of September 2nd, I felt a familiar fury and helplessness. Of the time you were kidnapped? Oh, right, you got catcalled, which is exactly the same. But I know, I have empathy. Hot take, women don't have empathy. 34-year-old mother of two and married teacher also went by Liza. Should have been able to finish her run in Memphis that day. Yeah, I agree. But again, she was not exactly being the safest individual that's out there. I too should be able to run wherever I want, but, hey man, I gotta face the reality that sometimes, okay, and other uncomfortable truth. I can give you one scenario when I was out on a run and it was a blizzard. It was a dreadful day. It was earlier this year. It was probably like January or February or something like that. Snow was coming down at such a rate. It was a Sunday, so it was one of my longer joints when I was running in one direction, much farther from my place right here. But it's a narrow road. Normally I'd take the ditch, but because it was a blizzard type scenario, I was running on the shoulder of the road, or whatever I could approximate as the shoulder of a road. And most people, they were just driving at a pretty safe clip, right? But obviously I was running on the shoulder of the road. Where I was running, the ditch is fairly deep and a little steep, and I didn't know exactly where the culvert would be, so I didn't really want to trip over anything, in the blizzard snow. Also about 30 degrees below zero. It was a dreadful time, but I did it anyways because I'm a psychopath. Regardless, back to the story. So I was on the side of the road, and then there was just a car, and I could see the snow getting kicked up by all the fresh powder that was on the ground and just kind of moving from one side of the road to the other. And then this vehicle wasn't slowing down. It was in fact picking up speed coming towards me, and that's fine. I can just get over onto the shoulder of the road, and you could kind of vaguely make out where exactly the road was, which lanes were available, and then obviously the little shoulder that was there. But this lady who was driving this little Mazda Miata or whatever, the new Mazda 6, 7 or whatever the fuck it is, the little compact car. She could not give a fuck about anybody that was on the road. She was taking the middle lane on that one, 2-lane road, you know what I mean. She was driving right down the fucking middle, and then she was also veering into the opposite lane, by the way, because again, snow was building up, and she's just got a little car, and she needs to go fast down a 2-lane road, I guess, and there was just a large individual over there on the shoulder. So guess what? That ditch was looking a little bit more comfortable than potentially being on the hood of this fucking vehicle that was coming in my direction. And yeah, no, so I just decided, yeah, I'll just go ahead and hop into that ditch so this bitch doesn't end up fucking clipping me. Now, should I have found myself in that situation? Absolutely not. But that's the situation that I found myself. I could have stood my ground and have 2 fucking broken legs standing here, or sitting or laying or just limping in order to deliver this message today, or I just dealt with the situation afforded to me. The long and short of it is, as a man, you understand, okay, that there is a burden of performance and that there's a mutually assured destruction that's out there. Allow me to clarify that statement there, okay? Men normally don't elevate their situation unless there is a female involved, or if there is a liquid courage involved. Let's just say, somebody's a little bit not themselves, okay? Because 2 guys, even in a heated argument, understand that things can go into a bad direction very quickly. But if your opposition in this conversation ends up being a woman, they'll take it to a certain situation. They will be all too willing to be throwing hands on top of you. Oh, you're just a prick. Fuck you. Oh my God. I'll get my boyfriend to come and beat you up, because that's always good. You're lippy. You run yourself a certain fucking threat level, and then you're gonna get another motherfucker who wasn't putting you in check beforehand to put himself in a bad spot. So if I had a fucking screw loose once again, I spark a stupid dude who just ends up trying to be a white knight for some drunk bitch. I don't fucking think so. Never be that dude in that situation. But there's that air of protection, okay? Like as Myron of Fresh and Fit likes to say, privilege is invisible to those that have it. And the female privilege, keeping them above violence, okay, keeping them at a certain level of societal safety, is astronomically high. And you're seeing this right here, okay? Anyways, yeah, back to this story, because I see something that's going to infuriate me. She should have arrived home to her kids and her husband and her boys. Good morning. She should have been able to drive to work. I don't care. I really don't care. Instead, police say she was kidnapped and killed by a 38-year-old Memphis man. Yeah, a career criminal who shouldn't have been out on the streets. How about write an op-ed about how bail reform in the system is a little bit fucked? How about that? Her body was discovered on Monday in the tall grass of a vacant house roughly 5 miles from the University of Memphis campus, where she was kidnapped. Police found what they suspect to be her running shorts in the trash bag about a quarter mile away. Yeah, no, exactly. It's fucking horrific. She's dead. She was raped and kidnapped, okay? I couldn't imagine a more horrific end to her life. We're on the same page right there. Eliza Fletcher should have go on a run alone any time of day in her neighborhood without worrying about being attacked. Yeah, exactly. But guess what? We don't fucking live in a fairy tale. Just because she should be able to do it doesn't mean that she is able to do it. Case in point, that's exactly what fucking happened. And it would have happened to any small blonde lady that's out there. Let's fucking keep it a stack. So should have Alexandria Brugger gunned down on a run in a Detroit area in 2017, and Vanessa Marquette sexually assaulted and strangled near her mother's Massachusetts house while on a visit in 2016. If you just want to point out a bunch of different things in there as well, okay, you could also just point to even Ahmaud Arbery, which again, that case has its own problems in and of itself. He was apparently out on a jog, which wasn't true at all, but he ended up getting snatched up by some guys and killed. Okay, why didn't you put that in there? Oh, because that busts your narrative that guess what? This has nothing to do with sex about it at all, okay? Women as a whole aren't a victim in this situation. A woman is a victim in this situation. And you need to fix the system that's around that instead of just going, no, women are just really the victims of all the violent crime, when that's just not the fucking case. Deaths hit women runners particularly hard because almost all of them had felt fear on our trails and paths and places we go to escape and feel empowered to stay healthy. To just be any of one of us could have been Eliza Fletcher. But bitch, you got fucking catcalled. Again, I'll just use a personal story on this one because again, I go out and I run in the mornings all the fucking time, okay? And you'll have somebody who's just barely fucking coherent. Or if you're out early enough in the morning, and if it's especially like a Friday morning, okay, you get some drunk bitch who's just coming home from fucking girls' night out at the Den. That's as local of a reference that nobody's gonna fucking get, okay? But if she's drunk and decides to take a swerve at somebody in the shoulder lane, okay, or to even just veer off onto the sidewalk, okay, I'm donezo. Now, it's my responsibility to keep my headphones at a certain level so that I know if anybody's approaching me while I'm out on a run, or if there's a vehicle going a little bit too fast, that I'm aware of the situation, that I'm running opposite of traffic so I know I can see some headlights or at least see the vague outline of somebody not trying to get caught by the cops so that they have their lights off, but I can still see that vehicle and make the appropriate adjustments where needed so I keep myself safe. I don't have this air of entitlement, okay, because I know that my bones aren't stronger than a metal fucking frame. Or if I'm running through a certain part of town, okay, around a lake that's near my area that I run through every once in a while, that I can hear if there are any animals out in the trees because I've seen deer, elk, moose, there's been bears spotted in the area, bobcats, all that kind of fun stuff, okay? I can't just say, well, I should be able to just run with my headphones on and not pay attention to my surroundings. I'm a 32-year-old man. I should be able to go and do that. Just because I should be able to go do that doesn't mean that's how shit actually fucking happens in real life. Take some responsibility for yourself. I'm sorry to the Fletcher family that this happened to you. That's an atrocious end to a life that was cut all too short. But the lesson that should be learned here, take responsibility for your own fucking safety so you don't end up in that same situation. Instead of saying, no, men just need to be better. No, criminals need to stay in fucking jail. And you need to take some responsibilities in order to keep yourself safe, because guess what? Society isn't going to fucking do it for you. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut. Get after it. Take care, everyone.